One of the great things about the game of baseball is that at its core, it's about a father and a son having a game of catch. And one of the great things about the relationship between Kelly Dugan and his dad Dennis is that even though one is a future major leaguer and the other one is a successful Hollywood actor and director, their relationship is, at its core, about a father and a son having a game of catch. All right, well, Dennis, I just wanted to first start off by asking you, what was Kelly like growing up as a kid?
He was a great kid. You know, he's always been, you know him a little bit now, you know, he's always been like a very fun, very nice, very sensitive kid. Dedicated, works hard, and like I say, really nice, but except for when he walks across the chalk line. You just don't want to be playing against him. You want him on your team.
So it was that way from the beginning, right?
He's always been that way. We used to walk down the steps in the front yard to get the LA Times in the morning. We'd get it, and then we'd run up the stairs. Whoever got to the front door first won. And if he didn't win, he had a big frown on his face.
I'd be crying.
Well, Kelly, obviously with your dad being a Hollywood director and actor, that's a little bit more of an unusual childhood, not the typical accountant's son. So what was it like growing up as a kid?
You know, you grow up with that, it feels normal, but at the same time, like I knew like it was something special and it was something that I was always like really proud of him for being a part of. And, you know, it was really cool getting to meet, you know, a lot of famous people you see on TV, you know, some interesting guys and some funny guys too. Some people that, you know, growing up, you know, made me laugh, and, you know, it was really cool, really cool.
Well, Dad, Kelly said that growing up, it was always about baseball, that he didn't even get to have a scooter growing up as a kid. Is that true? Was it always baseball with Kelly?
No, he got to pick. He's lying. Or you're making up something to try to drive us apart. No, he played soccer. He was a really good tennis player. He could have been, I think he could have been a pro tennis player.
Yeah, but no like skateboards or stuff.
No, he didn't have skateboard.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh no, he didn't have a skateboard. I didn't want him to play football, and when he tore a tendon in his hand playing football when he was about 12, he figured that out. But he wanted to play one more year, and I bribed him. I said, I'll buy the best glass backboard for your basketball in the driveway, whatever you want, the finest pro basketball hoop, if you won't play football. And he agreed.
Now, Kelly, was there ever a point where you maybe thought that you got tired of baseball and that your dad had to talk you into keep going with baseball?
No, not really. I don't feel that it ever got to there. No, nothing like that.
No, he picked it. When in 8th grade, when they won the basketball championship, we got in the car, shut the doors, and we were driving out of the parking lot, and he said, that's it. It's baseball year-round from now on.
Yeah, it feels like in Southern California, like, you gotta like pick to like, because I wanted to be a baseball player, and it feels like you gotta like commit like year-round down there, and you can basically play all year round, so it feels like you just gotta commit to something down there, and I really wanted to play baseball.
Well, once Kelly ended up committing to baseball, was there a certain point, a certain age where you thought, hey, you know what, he may have a chance of making this as a professional career?
You know, that's one of the things that you sort of dream about, and you think that would be really cool. My wife and I specifically said we don't want to be those parents, you know, that this is our dream, and we went. So we said, as long as it's his dream and as long as he's committed to it, we'll do everything we can to support him in it. You know, when he was going to go to high school and we realized he was going to be on the varsity as a freshman, he was going to have to do quite a bit of commuting, 2-3 hours on a bus every day. So we sold our house, which we had built 2 years before, and moved into the valley so he'd be nearer the school so he could play ball. Fortunately, we got lucky and found a place, so we were able to build a batting cage and a really good gym and stuff, so we could train a minor league team at our house right now.
Well, and obviously, Kelly, that had to have been nice to have that kind of support growing up as a kid. I mean, that's something that not a lot of kids do have the opportunity.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like I had like the resources to just like go and train and so I just like I kind of just took advantage of it, you know, just like have the batting cage out there and you know, being close to the high school where I was at and having a field at the high school, and you know, I just took advantage of everything basically, having the gym and you know, kind of just ran with it.
Your dad had said that that's something that you always dream about, your son becoming a professional baseball player. What was that experience like when the Phillies drafted you in the second round in 2009 and you took a step forward to realizing that dream?
It was like a big surprise and we were like, it was a big, you know, moment. And my first 2 years of high school I was injured, and then the next year I only DH'd my junior year, and then my senior year, I think the first half I played first base only played first base the first half. My coach was like really careful with my arm. I broke my elbow diving on a ball in the gap, and so and he was just like really cautious with me. And you know, the scouts started to come like all in like a rush right at the end, right before the draft, and everyone was like, oh, like who, like they didn't know who I was because I hadn't been playing a lot. And so it was just an awesome opportunity, and Shane Bowers, my scout, is a great friend of ours now, and it couldn't have gone any better.
Dad, what was that experience like for you when you saw your son get drafted and then have that moment where he signed his first
It was really crazy. You know when they show the NFL draft, you know, like everybody's crowded in the kitchen somewhere in South Georgia, you know, and they call the guy's name. Everybody stands up and starts whooping. That's what you do. You stand up, you start whooping and hollering. And our phones, his phone, his girlfriend's phone, my wife's phone, my assistant's phone, our phones just started ringing off the hook. And then we were shooting grown-ups at the time.
Right. And
the next morning, went into work, and they're all huge baseball fans. I don't know if you've seen the signing photographs, but Sandler, we're sitting on the set, and Sandler goes, because they all knew him from when he was a little kid, you know, and he goes, oh man, baseball player. He said, Kelly Dugan is a baseball player. He said, that's way better than being a movie star. And Kevin James goes, way better than being a movie star. And Chris Rock goes, I agree, it is way better than being a movie star.
Well, I want to ask you about that picture. How come Sandler's not wearing a Phillies cap? He seemed like one of the only guys.
Well, Shane Bowers flew in to do the signing, and brought Phillies hats. So he gave us all Phillies hats. Sandler, huge Yankee fan, said, no way, I'm not wearing it. Everybody else had him on. Kevin James, big Mets guy, and Rock, big Mets guy. Kevin James goes, right before the photo, he goes, yeah, I guess. So in support of Kelly, he wore it, but he turned it backwards. Rock went, oh, fine, I'm wearing it. Spade just figured, no girl's ever seen me in a Phillies cap, maybe that'll help. Because Spade is Spade, you know. If it can help him get a date, fine.
Kelly, you said that you and your dad always talk after games, and you especially love having him here in person because he can actually see the games and you guys can talk through things. How does that conversation typically go?
How does it typically go?
Well, it depends on the day.
Let's say for the first two games of this series, unfortunately, Kelly 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, we don't think of it that. We don't think of it that way. We just. He has a plan, you know, and you know, our saying is that we try to make it really simple. He goes into the batter's box with two things: his bat and his plan. Yeah. Nothing else. Not if it's here, not if it's in Gulf Coast League, not if it's the 7th game of the World Series in Yankee Stadium. Everything is exactly the same. We try to think of I don't want to tell all our secrets, but we try to think of every game as a game that is played within the batting cage. It's 60 feet 6 inches. It doesn't matter where the fences are, what the weather is, who's there. It doesn't matter. It's just the battle between him and the pitcher. So what we basically talk about at the end of the game is, did he execute his plan? Did he stay with the plan? Did he try to keep Did he try to shrink the strike zone, or did he let the pitcher expand the strike zone? And if he stayed with the plan, he beat the pitcher. Like we talked about last night. We talked about just a little while ago. He says there's one fastball that he wished he had back. Other than that, he felt he did his plan. Yeah. So he felt last night was on a par with 2 nights ago when he went 2 for 3.
Except, yeah, you know, you just look back and there's a 1 pitch, you know, and in my 3rd at bat, I wish I could have had back. And other than that, you know, you try to just execute it every day.
It's a very advanced line of thinking that is for the, I mean, not normal average baseball fans typically don't view the game, approach the game that way. How did you get to that point? I mean, it's, because like I said, it's not typical, even of parents sometimes.
Right. Well, you know, I was always a baseball fan my whole life, and of course I've been around him and, you know, all of the teachers that he's had, and, you know, he works extensively with Reggie Smith now. And he's had other batting coaches, and he works with Shane Bowers a lot in the off season and stuff. And you know, he and I just talking about it. I can't tell him how to hit. I can't say bring your hands back. But I've been around a lot of people in a high profile job that work really hard to get to the top and work really hard to stay at the top. And my theory about winning is that it's your job, which we were talking about, your job and Kelly's job, my job, anybody's job. There's a template that you can basically place on it to be a winner. And that's what we talk about. We just talk about the mental side of the game. How do you approach it as a cold-hearted assassin?
Well, obviously with your dad traveling, I know that both your parents make time to be able to come and watch you play, like this weekend at Reading, but how nice is it to actually have them in person and to be able to talk with them in person and just really soak up those moments? I have to imagine that, you know, talking on the phone is one thing, maybe even Skyping is one thing, but to have them in person and to be able to just have that face-to-face contact, I would have to guess that that's an even bigger benefit.
Yeah, you know, anywhere I go, it seems like, you know, they're always there, and it means everything. You know, having them actually there is just the best thing I could ask for, you know. Honestly, it makes it feel like home. You know, obviously the travel and the schedule, you know, it's always difficult no matter where you are playing professional baseball, but it's awesome having them, you know, be here and get to experience this, and, you know, it's just the best.
Well, Kelly, before I let you guys go, I have to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Favorite movie that your dad has either directed, or acted in, or both?
Big Daddy, because I'm in Big Daddy.
Where at, just in case people want to see?
I'm in the school play. I'm in the school play. I play Alexander Hamilton. I'm like the first kid that comes out and says, I'm Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
Bigger thrill, having your son act in a movie that you're directing or having him play baseball?
I think I'm going to go with Sandler and Kevin James and Chris Rock. I'd rather he be a baseball player.
With all the hard work that Kelly Dugan is putting in and with the direction of his dad, there's no doubt that Kelly is going to find his way to the major leagues. And when he does, that'll sure to be a script right out of Hollywood. Thanks for checking us out. And join us next time as we go behind the pinstripes with your Reading Fightin Phils.